tear down this wall.
And thank my staff, my colleagues and the staff as well for their due diligence in making this happen. Thank my staff.
The apartments, the levy is, if the project was designed incorrectly, the apartments could become a levy. However, the city has standards and requirements that prohibit a development from blocking or increasing water to or from an adjacent property. And so the same thing about the 100-year floodplain. Today, Barber Drive, Conway, I think all the way to Sturgeon is in the floodplain, right? So what are the protections for people that are already living in the floodplain, and for what is the city going to require if this project is allowed to go forward?
Thank my staff.
To prevent additional flooding.
My friends in the FEMA floodplain program and has requirements to meet bare minimum standards for FEMA.
We flood the neighborhood.
Flash flooding
And causing a catastrophe in that neighborhood.
I believe it would be negligent to place any kind of barrier between exit of the floodwaters.
The way in which our neighborhood floods. Who's going to pick up that tab?
It's a scary situation.
because what I saw, the disaster happened because what we don't respect the nature.
We have to be concerned about the dangers to the adjacent neighborhood. We live in a special place called Flash Flood Alley, where our 24-hour rainfall totals are like that of Bangladesh.
David Rabago is here with the engineering department, and he is our certified floodplain administrator, and he will probably be able to articulate it in the best way.
Up in the world-class category.
It's on the 100-year floodplain.
Think about the future if you continue to build high-density developments in floodplains.
The LIDs, the low-impact developments, are on the wrong side of the development. The science
It's been prone to flooding.
I don't care what BMPs you have in place. If we have floods, that's going into the San Marcos River.
Runoff from this property into the river.
So I guess during the site plan stage, we do have the site plan and we have the watershed protection plan phase 2. In terms of, so there are two requirements that would need to be addressed. One of them is through FEMA, and that's for the floodplain requirement, which states that the finished floor elevation needs to be built 1 foot above the base flood elevation.
We had this long conversation about grabbing babies out of houses, and we were worried about flooding.
And I live in the Dunbar neighborhood, and y'all know how Dunbar has flooded. I was in there when 2 of the babies drowned there.
Underwater. Been through several floods. We've almost swam, we've pulled people out, we've taken the dump truck and gone down and hauled people out.
And then the other requirement is to the City of San Marcos LDC, where you cannot adversely affect surrounding property owners. City of San Marcos LDC, where you cannot adversely affect surrounding property owners. City of San Marcos LDC, where you cannot adversely affect surrounding property owners. City of San Marcos LDC, where you cannot adversely affect surrounding property owners, meaning that, and this is still in the concept stage, but what I'm thinking is that we would have the design engineer quantify the storm runoff coming from the upgradient subdivision, and then they would have to convey it through their site. So technically it would not be levied, it would not create a dam, 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 it would not create a dam. It will not create a dam. It will not create a dam. It will not create a dam.
And so the baseline for that determination is the 100-year floodplain, or
for the storm runoff. That's a different calculation. That's more like a hydrologic model. So it's pretty much it would be the city staff working with the design engineer, coming up with a contributing area.
Thank my staff.
And once we establish a contributing area, then we go and quantify the storm runoff. And then once it's quantified, then we look at the site plan to see how they are going to convey it through the site.
And that hydrological model could include the San Marcos River and the Blanco?
Yes.
Okay. And then I don't know. Do you want to like start going through the? Those are my questions.
Okay.
Staff, I think. Do you want to like start going through the PDD, or does other people have questions?
Let's see if anybody else has any other questions before we go.
Question off on the floodplain. Does anyone have a number or a reasonably close number? What percentage of town or how many dwellings are in the 500-year floodplain? I saw it at one point, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, and I think that was a calculation done by someone else, but I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head.
This is fun.
Well, you done for the moment, Ryan?
Yes.
So I have a question for you, sir. Tell me your name
David Rabago?
and you work for the city?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're saying that in the flood of 1998, where they were in boats on Conway and Barbara, and hauling people out in dump trucks, that setting that line of apartments along River Road, building them up higher because they have to be up a little higher, you're quite positive they would not flood and that would not back up any water. You're absolutely sure of that.
Theoretically, if it meets the FEMA requirements and follows the City of San Marcos requirements, theoretically it should not flood.
I understand what you're saying, and I think in the theoretical, you're probably right. But there's a lot of non-theoretical things that happened in 1998. There's 15 years of additional development upstream since that time. 15 years of additional development.
Housing costs in San Marcos are 38% of what they are in Austin.
And that sweet spot is here in Central Texas.
City of San Marcos says the annual construction of new single-family homes there has increased by about 82% in the past 5 years. The city also says more than 1,800 apartment units were built in the city in the past 2 years.
So we're pleased. We're certainly excited. Surprised? Absolutely not.
Really excited about what we see in the future.
And that sweet spot is here in Central Texas.
Called Flash Flood Alley.
A while ago, we are anticipating additional rain in the next 48 hours. And so certainly, as was mentioned a while ago, if you do not need to be out of your homes, if you've had an opportunity to be able to get to a relative's home, friend's home.
And you work for us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I guess we're meeting you for the first time, so welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. It's an interesting meeting for you to be kind of diving into. Since we're meeting you for the first time, and you said your first name is David. I don't know if I caught your last name.
It's Rabago, R-A-B-A-G-O.
And you've been with us for how long?
7 months now.
And, I know Matthew mentioned your title a while ago. You are our floodplain.
I'm actually a project engineer.
The city of San Marcos is in the FEMA floodplain program and has requirements to meet bare minimum standards for FEMA. David Rabago is here with the engineering department, and he is our certified floodplain administrator, and he will probably be able to articulate it in the best way.
And I know Matthew mentioned your title a while ago. You are our floodplain.
I'm actually a project engineer.
From all over the United States are showing up here to help out.
Volunteers with international disaster relief group Samaritan's Purse take a hammer to this home on Barbara Drive in San Marcos, only salvaging a refrigerator, maybe this stove. With all the loss, he's thankful for these helpers.
They're doing a great job, and anything they do is welcome.
But you're our administrator specifically in regards to?
That's actually Richard Reynosa. He couldn't be in today.
Okay.
He's a certified floodplain manager.
But you're one of our engineers. But you're one of our engineers.
Yes, sir.
And just out of curiosity, because I'm meeting you for the first time, and I was surprised when you walked in because I'm so used to seeing everybody else. And your credentials are where'd you go to get your degrees from? Where?
Bachelor's of Science 2001 from MIT. I worked private development sector for 10 years, both commercial, residential, and now I kind of switched over to the other side, and I'm doing public sector work.
MIT, we're doing pretty good. Thank you. I did not know that part.
Approval of something like this, I believe, would be negligence on the part of the city.
Capes Camp acreage, which would create a barrier to flood waters trying to drain out of my neighborhood.
Once that asphalt goes up, it's going to push all of the water down to the residents. I hope that we can treat our veterans better than that, and hope that the 30 years that my dad has invested into the neighborhood and to the home and to his country will be appreciated.
Here, I'd have to take a left on Capes Road and go out to Highway 123 and come back around.
That's correct.
That's a bummer.
You can't make a left turn into that?
They're right in.
Those
right
are
out.
right in and right out onlys. So if I was coming from the animal shelter or, Walmart, anything over there, I'd have to go through Barrio Pescata to get back to 123, to hit the access road by Chili's and come back around to get into here.
You couldn't if it were flooding, because that definitely floods.
Well, I'm just talking about in general.
Those are right in, right out. That's
Okay, so that's kind of a bummer.
Well, let me just say, we have performed a TIA per your regulations and have turned that in. At this stage, I guess there are some little details such as that could be tweaked with staff, but
If we could keep the
drive along.
my colleagues and the staff as well for their due diligence in making this happen. At this time, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on this. Anyone? Oh, yeah.
No, y'all go first. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'll go first.
I'll very quickly go ahead.
Go ahead.
I would have to say I agree that it is a gray area, and I have to appreciate that all the people say, hey, the vast majority, 75%, said we want this parkland. The same percentage also said, don't send us a bill. It isn't black and white. I've had numerous people call and say, hey, this is a no-brainer. We want the land. We don't want to pay for it. This is a compromise. People really are all over the board on this particular subject. So it's just a matter of where that compromise lies, because if they're sooner or later it becomes one. That's all good.
Come tumbling down with the walls. Come crumbling, crumbling through the walls. Come tumbling, tumbling, crumbling, tumbling down.
Site plan stage, we do have the site plan and we have the watershed protection plan phase 2. We do have the site plan and we have the watershed protection plan phase 2.